Last month set mandates for car manufacturers, requiring 22% of the new cars they sell next year to be zero emission. That will rise to 80% by 2030. Well, all of that compares with the 16% of the market currently accounted for by sales of battery electric vehicles in the last month. Those are the figures from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. But according to the online automotive marketplace Autotrader, interest in electric cars may be waning. Well, joining me now is Erin Baker. She's editorial director at Autotrader. Erin, good to see you this morning. Why do you say interest is waning?
Hi there. Yeah, well, according to our figures on Autotrader, interest in new electric cars is down by 65% year on year. It's a slightly nuanced picture because actually sales and interest in used EVs remain pretty robust and are actually at their strongest that they've been ever at 6% market share. But certainly there's a huge drop-off in interest for new electric cars.
And you're measuring interest here by sort of searches on the site?
Exactly, ad views, yeah.
Right. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there are three key things. The first is cost of living crisis. You know, it's affecting us all. The sticker price of an electric car is still on average 37% more than it is for petrol or diesel. So people that are thinking about going electric, and a lot of consumers really do still want to make that switch, are looking at their monthly household budgets and thinking, 37% more expensive. There's also a lot of worries about charging. The charging network, is it there? How much does it cost? In particular, this lack of VAT equality on domestic versus public charging. If you go to a public charger, a rapid charger in particular, you're paying that 20% VAT, and actually that can make it quite hefty.
Yeah, now overnight, Elon Musk at Tesla hinted at further price cuts over coming months. Is that symptomatic of this waning decline? It's not just a UK factor. It must be global if Tesla are talking about this.
It is global. The car brands are global. They operate across different markets. If we look at other markets where they have successfully brought EVs on board and there's strong consumer demand and take-up, you're looking at a lot of government incentives having to be there. You look at the UK, where are our government incentives? We had a plug-in grant, it's largely gone. We had a domestic charging grant, it's largely gone. We don't have any information around battery health for consumers. And, people that want to look at a used EV are thinking, well, hang on, the car's fine, what about the battery? I don't know anything about that. So, where's the standardisation of messaging around that?
Are you saying then that the government's net zero targets are misguided unless they actually restore some of these incentives?
I think what we see, again, if you look at used, consumer demand and interest is there, but so we could still be on track. 2030 could still be a viable possibility, but it's going to take the government to really, I think, step in, look at things like incentives around VAT on used cars, look at Norway. They do free charging, free spaces, free parking, all sorts of really interesting consumer incentives to go electric, and they don't currently exist in the UK.
You mentioned just now the differential between new EVs and new petrol and diesel vehicles was 37%, I think you said.
Yeah, right.
What's it like for used cars?
Used cars, it's narrowing. It depends very much on the model. I mean, actually, if you think about it, for a lot of people out there, electric cars are a very new idea. But the likes of Renault Zoe, Nissan Leaf, they've been with us for over a decade now. So actually, there are some really good used car bargains out there. And there are a few models actually where price parity exists. I mean, we thought, along with other people, Autotrader, we thought we were heading for price parity between electric and petrol and diesel around the middle of this decade. It's not happening. It's not going to happen without some help probably from the government. But, there are a few good bargains to be had out there.
Now, you mentioned just now the fact that the government has been withdrawing incentives. Of course, in 2025, vehicle excise duty is going to be imposed on EVs. Is that something that you think the government perhaps ought to reconsider?
Definitely, that's something for the government to consider. Along with, benefit in kind for company car users is going to shift upwards. That's been a really good incentive, which probably explains why 2 out of 3 electric cars are company cars. If we want retail, private purchasers to get behind electric, we need some fiscal incentives pretty soon.
All right, Erin, good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.